Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Jared Boland with Man Up Ministries Online here in the updated Man Up Studios. How can we call it that? With some better lighting, better sound, better video. And today, as you all know, is Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm going to do a quick little video before I jump into some Super Bowl festivities myself. But I want to talk a little bit about a different topic that is more tied to today than you might realize. And that is the topic of human trafficking. And many of you are just hearing those words thinking, what in the world do those things have to do with each other? And so maybe this might be the first in kind of a new series or regular topic video that I'd like to explore, taking the time to speak on social justice issues from a Christian perspective. Realizing that my day to day work in the domestic violence and human trafficking field um, is something that I also avidly talk about the fact that, frankly, Christians and spiritual leaders should do a better job of talking about it on a regular basis. And so, hopefully, we can explore some of these topics in a healthier way from a Christian perspective. Hopefully, I can bring that to the table with some level of expertise. And so today we're going to kick it off by talking on Super Bowl Sunday about human trafficking. The reason is that, ironically, human trafficking really hits a peak on this particular week, Super Bowl week, and definitely on Super Bowl day. Now, many of you are thinking, what's the connection? Why in the world would the Super Bowl and human trafficking be so interlocked? And that is because human trafficking really doesn't exist outside of demand and discretionary income, wealth. So a lot of people in our country, unfortunately, have this belief that human trafficking doesn't exist in America because, frankly, it's kind of the America is so great narrative. But in reality, there is more human trafficking happening in the United States, maybe as much as anywhere. And unfortunately, there is even such a thing as kind of human trafficking or sex tourism where wealthy Americans will actually go to other countries that maybe have looser laws or are more prone to accept um, a form of human trafficking that is maybe not legal but more accepted. And so, a lot of times I talk about in this work about the fact that human trafficking is prevalent in the United States because we have as much wealth and as much discretionary income in our country as, as anywhere else in the world. It's one of the reasons that everybody thinks of America, looks up to America when it comes to business enterprises. And what you may not be realizing I'm hinting at is the fact that oftentimes, especially in today's political environment, we spend a lot of time talking about the rich and we think we're talking about that top 1%. What we don't realize is that really the large majority of our population is wealthy compared to the rest of the world. In fact, in many cases, and it might make you uncomfortable to hear this or think this, but in a lot of cases, our lower income class, lower middle class, in a lot of ways, has far more discretionary income than much of the rest of the world. And, in some ways, that's a good thing. The fact that we use our tax dollars to provide for those who have less in our country better than maybe other countries do through different subsidized programming. But regardless, our country on average has significantly more discretionary income to use on luxury items, if you will. Now, when you think about it using that terminology from a kind of a fiscal and businessy outlook, and accept the fact that at the end of the day, human trafficking is a dark business, then it makes sense to hear me talk about the fact that human trafficking and sex trafficking in particular exists heavily in our nation because we have so many people with so much money and the greed and the willpower to use it to fulfill what I would easily argue as our sinful nature or our sinful desires, such as sex with those who may not even be consenting in any kind of legal way or moral way. Now, Super Bowl Sunday, come back to the topic of today. And one of the big reasons we believe that human trafficking spikes on this particular day is that it really truly is the glorification of wealth and status and income. It is an event that exists in our nation. Don't get me wrong, big fan of football, big fan of the NFL, and even the Super Bowl and just the competition, the raw competition that's involved. But at the end of the day, look at how much a Super Bowl ticket costs just to attend. Or for that matter, look at the millions and millions of dollars spent on 30-second ads, 30-second TV commercial spots in on the Super Bowl, just during Super Bowl airtime. It's astronomical. And so it is quite literally a moment in time every year where our country and businesses and individuals flex their financial power and flex their financial status and prowess, literally in the form of spending it at exorbitant rates just to be seen. It's in the same atmosphere and in the same setting that the wealthy of the world will gather in a single place, in a single city, to hold lavish parties, to spend astronomical amounts of money, to fulfill whatever status and party and power desires they have. And so, with all of that in mind, you can imagine that it becomes the perfect storm, the perfect setting for our American wealth, as well as our entitlement and our sinful desires to be fully practiced at their worst. So you're going to see every level of human trafficking spike in this moment. It can be low level Super Bowl parties, or it can be high level executive suite type of parties where they are quite literally using escort services to hire in, um, loads of women, loads of sex trafficking victims that are often mislabeled as escorts or prostitutes or things like that to make them look like they are the ones choosing to partake. And it is in this atmosphere, unfortunately, that there are more victims being preyed upon and abused on this day as much as anything else in this country. So, not to dampen the mood on your Super Bowl Sunday, I will be right there with you, celebrating some healthy competition and enjoying some good food and some time with family. But at the same time, I would be missing out on the opportunity to take this soapbox, if you will, take this podium or platform to talk about something even more important while we are enjoying ourselves on this fun day. So um, let this be a reminder that you are blessed. You are blessed in this, just to be in this country. You are blessed to have the kind of income to have parties and purchase food and just have a good time today, and to celebrate something as simple but fun as competition in a football game. At the same time, take a moment to remember those who are being victimized every day, but especially on this day, because of our wealth, but also more importantly, our pride and our selfish desires. So, uh, go enjoy your night tonight. Have a blast with your friends and so forth. But then, at the same time, maybe when the game is over and as the next day rolls in, that you might take some time to do a little bit of research, learn a little bit more about how human trafficking is affecting the very neighborhood that you live in, not just the town that is holding the Super Bowl, but the very town that you live in as well, no matter how big or small it is. And continue to seek out how you can make a difference in this world. If you are listening to this, probably as a follower of Christ, and that we are called to love and look after the least of these. Not that they are beneath us, but that they are being taken advantage of. And these survivors of human trafficking need a world and a community and a country that cares about them more than their own selfish desires. Hope you have an amazing night. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we will talk soon.